Hello, everybody, and welcome to the holiday edition of Can Keithie Take the Heat? I am your host, Keithie Langston, and today we're going to be making a little bit of a deviation again. I know I should really probably change this from Can Keithie Take the Heat, the recipes of the WWE superstars, to Can Keithie Just Cook, because I'm basically starting to do other stuff too. But what I want to do today is put this out in case you're going to be going to anybody's house for, let's say, Christmas or New Year's, or if you're celebrating any other holidays and you want to bring like a special dessert. I'm going to make a couple of desserts. The first one I'm going to make is an individual cheesecake in a individual ramekin. So this is kind of a cute little recipe. It's a different take on cheesecakes altogether. So I have these little 8-ounce ramekins that I got. I think I got them on Amazon. I'm making 8 of them because I'm going to give them to 2 different groups of people, and they're 2 couples. So I wanted to give 4 each so that they can have one on New Year's and one on Christmas Eve. One on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, one on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. And so I'm going to be doing that. So what you want to do, and again, this is for 8, so you can obviously scale this down. But basically what I did is I went out and I got some graham cracker crumbs, and I put about 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs, and I melted an entire stick of butter, and I kind of mixed them in to make this crumble, to make the crust. You don't have to do that. You can spray the ramekin with like a nonstick spray, but I said this is just as easy. So now I had already done the other 7, so I'm just going to do this one here. I'll show you what I'm doing so you can see it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just taking the crumb, putting it in the ramekin, and fill up as much as you'd like, depending on the thickness. And then what you can do is take, like I have a measuring cup here. I have a half a cup measuring cup, and you just want to kind of pat them down. And you want to just kind of try to get something that's flat, so that it's even, and then just shake it a little bit, and you want to try to get as close to like a flat surface as you can. And then what I'm doing is I'm putting these in baking trays, because you have to kind of fill them up part way with hot water. I have my hot water over here, so I was able to fit 5 and then 3, like I said, and then we're going to bake them, and that's how we're going to cook them. You want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and let that kind of just warm up. And like I said, boil some water ahead of time. That way you have it when you're ready. Now, to make the filling, this is the thing about cheesecake, is it's very, very easy. So I have 24 ounces of cream cheese. So 3 8-ounce sticks, melted or kind of, brought up to room temperature. I have them in my KitchenAid. So I'm going to put my paddle attachment on. And then you want to add in, now this is the weird part, and I apologize I didn't get the correct cup versus whatever, but it was like 8 tablespoons of granulated sugar. So I don't know what that ends up being, but yeah. So you want to add that in, and then you want to add 2 large eggs. So I have 2 large eggs. You want to add those in, and then it also called for 2 additional egg yolks. So I got 2 additional egg yolks. So you put those in. And for those who don't know, if you don't know how to do the egg yolk trick, it's pretty simple. You just, when you crack the egg, kind of move it back and forth between your hand to just kind of get rid of all the egg white. And then you have the yolk. You have the yolk separated. It also adds it says for like 3 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I kind of eyeball it, but because, it depends if you like vanilla extract or not. And I forgot to open this ahead of time, so you're going to get to watch me struggle. Well, not really. Came right off. Okay. So I'm going to kind of eyeball this a little. No. All right. All right. So you want to put your paddle attachment down, lock it, and turn it on. Start low. And basically what we're going to be doing is we're just creaming this together to eventually it will form almost like a creamy, almost like the creamy filling. And the reason being is because the eggs act as an emulsifier, and they kind of mix together with the with the cream cheese and the sugar, and it eventually kind of becomes that, like I said, that emulsified batter. You can see right here, it's mixing fairly well. So you just want to put that. And I remember when one year I was making a regular making a regular cheesecake, and I had a hand mixer, and my hand mixer broke. And I was like, no, because then you have to mix it by hand, and it can take a lot. All right, so this is mixing fairly well. I'm just going to... All right. So I just want to check it. Now I'm going to check it with a rubber spatula. I'm going to get a smaller rubber spatula. A little small plastic one because I just want to... My little silicone. Okay, yeah. So that's a pretty good. So almost all the way there. So I'm going to just kind of bring down from the sides the remaining cream cheese that kind of was up on the sides there. I'm going to put this down, mix it back in again. All right, so this is good. So now what I'll do is I'll show you I'll do it like on the first one, and then maybe I'll fill a second one, and then I'll show you like basically what you're going to do at this point is you're going to fill these up, and you just pretty much, like I said, you fill the pan with water, and then you put them in the oven, you bake them for like 30 minutes, then you take them out, you let them completely cool, and that's it. And what I actually have to transport them as like little gifts is I have these things came with like little silicone covers. These little silicone covers. So they'll actually snap on perfectly, and then you can carry them, you can bring them to whomever you want to give them to. So, all right then. So let's take this out. So I'm gonna try seeing. I don't really want. You know what? I'm going to do this with a little ice cream scoop. Because why the hell not? So, this one right here, a little ice cream scoop. Because you really you got to make sure that you put enough in. That's not going to work, I don't think. Yeah, I'm just going to have to do this. Because I don't want to shortchange any of them. But I also don't want to just pour these all this in at once. I don't really want to pour this at all because I don't want to overdo one versus the other. But I don't mind doing this. So I actually have grown to really enjoy making cheesecake. It's kind of just a fun little side dish I bring. I've done a lot of desserts, because while I can cook regular food, I kind of do like cooking desserts because sometimes it's just good to bring dessert to people's houses, and everybody loves dessert. A lot of people love cheesecake too. And of course, I've done like in the past, I've done like toppings where, I've done like the strawberry compote or the cherry compote. And then, I've done that. Actually, I'm going to do a little twist on half of these. So I'll tell you about that in a second. But, yeah, you can do really anything. You can mix it with peanut butter if you want to do like a peanut butter one, which I've done that before. That's good. Of course, at that point, you can do certain things like, instead of it being graham crackers, you can do like Oreo and have it be like, you know, the peanut butter filling with the Oreo crumb, which is kind of really cool. That's a really good one. And then, of course, you can do any other real thing you want. All right, so that's kind of done. I'm going to just go ahead and use my silicone spatula to scoop out the rest kind of into this last one. Yeah. Cool. Just fill in where I feel like I need. A little bit of dips and dabs or whatever. All right. Well, that really did kind of make like, it kind of just made 8. In fact, I probably only could have made 7, but I think for the most part these are good. Yeah, these are all. All right, cool. All right, so the other thing I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm kind of doing something a little different for half of them. Well, let me just put this. Yeah. Oh, gotta wash my hands. Sorry, everybody. But so, as I had said before, you can do things like chocolate, caramel if you want, whatever you really want to do. But I'm going to do chocolate chips. So I have some milk chocolate chips that I got. And really, I'm just going to drop these in, plop, plop, plop to like 4 of them. And that way I'm going to give 2 to each person. Like I said, I'm giving these to a 2 couples. So, but, and then hopefully these will just kind of melt in. And they'll have like a little bit of a choice if they want a chocolate one or if they want just the regular. So, all right. So like I said, you want to fill these up with warm water or hot water. You want to do like 3/4 of the way up. All right. Let me go right here. Yeah. And what this does is it will steam the cheesecake so that it kind of prevents them from cracking. Perfect. And obviously I would say, please make sure you're being very careful putting these in and taking these out because you're dealing with hot water. So, all right. So I got my oven to 350. There's one. Ay. There's 2. All right. And in a half an hour, we'll see you when they come out.
Same place? Maybe you can. I'll let you in on a little secret. The Holiday Gift Center at Blockbuster. After all, everybody has a favorite movie. And who has more favorites than Blockbuster? Besides having more movies to rent, they also have more movies to give. Oh, plus they have all kinds of video games for the kids. So take care of everybody on your list. Make it a Blockbuster holiday.
Alrighty, everybody. So there's the cheesecakes. They are out of the oven. As you can see, they are steaming. So basically, just let these cool completely. As you can see, the water did kind of eliminate cracking, but not as much as I hoped, but that's okay. They'll kind of, once they cool, they'll relax and then they'll chill. So once these are back to like room temperature, I can cover them with the silicone tops and then put them in the fridge and ready for delivery. So that is it for the individual ramekin cheesecakes.
Santa,
Our budgets feel tight.
This week at Sears, save $50 on this Kenmore upright with attachments, then get a free canister vacuum. We're open 8 till 11.
Come see the merry side of Sears.
It's hard to surprise people during the holidays. So shop at Staples, the office superstore, and give them something different, like a laser printer, electronic organizer, or cordless phone. Over 5,000 gift ideas at a guaranteed low price. Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So now the next recipe that I'm going to be making for for the second dessert is I'm going to make a tiramisu. So this again is probably, I would even say it's even easier than the cheesecake, and that's because this one is no bake. Like, you don't even bake it at all. The only thing you really have to heat up at all is you got to make some espresso. So currently right now I have some espresso brewing. As you can see, I have like my little espresso pot right there, and I'm brewing some espresso to dunk the lady fingers in, because you got to dunk lady fingers in. And let's lower this a little bit. All right. I just want everybody to see what I'm kind of doing. So, and then really what you do is that you got to have some whipping cream or whipped cream, but I'm doing my own whipping cream. You do sugar, vanilla, and mascarpone cheese. So what you want to do is you get your whisk attachment. And what I did is I put this, as well as the bowl, in the freezer, and I left them in the freezer for pretty much all day, because you want it to be nice and cold, because once you get that nice and cold, it actually like whips up the whipping cream really good and like real fast. So you get your whipping cream, your heavy whipping cream or your heavy cream out of your fridge, which is what I had, and we're gonna want to do. Now I'm gonna do 3 of these. I'm gonna do 3 8x8s. I'm probably gonna show you how to make the first one, and then I'm gonna make the other 2 off camera. I'm giving these out as gifts. So, but you want to do the recipe I have. So the recipe I have is for 3 8x8s. You can obviously look up recipes for how you want to tailor it another way. It says for 4.5 cups of heavy whipping cream and a cup of granulated sugar, and then it says 3 tablespoons of vanilla. So I'm going to kind of eyeball the vanilla again, much like I did with the cheesecake. But for this, let's take the whipping attachment off. I'm going to do my 4.5 cups of whipping cream. It's probably going to be almost the entire pint, or the quart that I got, rather. So, and then actually, yeah, I don't care. I'm actually going to just do everything in here. All right. And then you want to do 4.5 cups again of the espresso. And that's, again, to dip, because we're going to be dipping these cookies. So what you want to do is you want to dip the lady fingers into the espresso real quick. And then it kind of soaks up the espresso a little bit. So while that's brewing, I can do this, because you can keep this kind of in the fridge. All right, so, all right. Now the big thing with whipping cream is that you don't want to, it goes from like whipped cream to butter like very fast. So you kind of have to keep an eye on it, just because you don't want it to turn into butter. I also don't know where my guard attachment is. So what you can do is you can take cloth and kind of put the cloth over, because you really got to get this high, and it's going to spread. It's going to splatter everywhere. But you kind of want to wait to start to see it. It's already getting everywhere. I'll do this way. It's getting everywhere. All right. Let me get this whipped up, and then I'll come back. Because nobody wants to hear this.
Santa's gonna love these sweet, fruity tricks. Yeah.
Ho, ho, out! Oh, I mean, ho, ho, ho! Oh, boy! A big bowl of tricks! A delicious part of this complete breakfast! One bite of those fruity, festive-colored puffs and I'll really be jolly! It's gonna be a raspberry red, lemony yellow Christmas! An orangey orange, grapey purple, lime green Christmas! Joy to the world! I'm gonna get to eat tricks! Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, Santa.
We're back. And this is my whipped cream, as you can see here. And you're supposed to peak it till it's got stiff peaks, they say. But you can tell it's pretty solid. And it tastes good too. So I'm all done with my mixer. Because now the next step is you gotta fold in the mascarpone cheese. So, and again, mascarpone is basically just Italian cream cheese. It's a little bit, I think it's a little sweeter than cream cheese is. But either way, you want to fold that in. And then my espresso is all done. So I'm going to add this. And one of the things is that you don't want to, you kind of just roughly mixing this in, but you don't want to completely like deflate your whipped cream. So you're kind of like just kind of mashing this together. Actually, you know what? I might even just do it with the mixer. I can do this and not totally kill my mixture. So it said for 24. So it's really like 1.5 of these. So I think what I'll do is actually do the half of a container. And like I said, this is kind of like, it's like a cream cheese. So you can actually pretty much just use it after the fact as such. So, all right. And actually, I'm going to switch to, I'll keep the whisk on. I think the whisk attachment was fine. I'm going to clean this off a little. Got to be careful not to eat all of the whipped cream. And I kind of eyeballed. So while the cream was mixing, while the heavy whipped cream was mixing and turning into whipped cream, I added the cup of sugar as well as the vanilla. And that was what I had done. Okay, I'm going to turn this on low. I'll let this mix in. My brother's home, everybody. So I'm just pushing this down the sides because I want this to mix in. I think that's pretty mixed. Yeah. All right, good. Awesome. All right. Okay. So this is easier than the other recipe, but it's almost messier. So that's fine. Okay, so now the next step is to build the tiramisu. So you want to get yourself like a deeper dish, like a deeper kind of bowl or dish like that. And now this is, so one of the things you can do with tiramisu is you can do it with like a rum or like a coffee liqueur or something. Give it a little bit of kick. I'm not doing that. I'm making completely non-alcoholic. But to give it a little kick, to kind of like amp it up a little, I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla bean paste. I find that with the vanilla bean paste, kind of adds a little kick when you want. And I don't need a whole bunch. So the vanilla bean paste kind of drops almost like molasses. So it's just, I just want a little bit because I want a little bit of extra flavor in with the espresso. And so you take that, you take your espresso, and it automatically, it's already dissolving. It's already dissolving the vanilla bean paste, but you can always just get a little bit of get a little spoon, mix it up a little. Now, again, this is like freshly boiled, so just be careful, but you really just want to dunk these in real quick. So you take your lady fingers and you kind of just real quick. See, it's actually, you got to almost do it with like 2 spoons. Yeah, see, this is already, I didn't do it fast enough. So let me get myself, you know what, I think I have little tongs. It says to do it with like cold espresso, but I feel like it doesn't soak up fast. I got these little baby tongs, like real fast. And then you layer the lady fingers right on in. You see? And of course, I feel like every recipe you see, every online recipe, they go, tiramisu is Italian for kick me up. And that's exactly what it is. So the first, and this time I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll probably get 7, 8. And then I think a couple of halves maybe. Break one in half. And then break this one in half. Cool. Okay. So that's our first layer. Yeah, and actually, I'm gonna have to make more because, like, that basically. See, I lost a couple cookies, so I'm gonna have to make some more. So I might let that sit there for a second while I'm gonna make some more of this. And actually, I'll scoop this on for a second. Show this. So you want to basically take your mixture. Man, you could eat that stuff just on its own, I feel like. But you want to take your mascarpone Cool Whip mixture and kind of blop it on here. So do a couple dollops, and then you can spread it out. All right, let me get a little offset spatula here. Okay, so that's the first layer. All right, so that's your first layer right there. So what I'll do is I'm going to put the second layer on. I'm going to make some more espresso, and when we come back, I'll show you what we do to kind of finish it up.
It's rich, sweet, and absolutely nuts. It only comes but once a year. The Jubilee Roll from Friendly. Just order any of our classic burgers, and we'll make you a Jubilee Sundae free. Or buy a whole Jubilee Roll and enjoy our Nutcracker Suite at home.
Okay, so I had done the second layer, and I'm going to do the last step now. So there it is. That's the second layer. So I did 2 layers of the lady fingers, 2 layers of the mascarpone, and then you want to do is you get your chocolate, your cocoa, and you cover it with cocoa powder. And that's your tiramisu. And there it is. That looks a little messy, but this might be the one that goes to my cousin's house. But basically, I'm going to just cover it up, throw it in the fridge, and we are good to go. So I think what I'm going to try, because the actual recipe that I have does say to use like cold espresso, and I didn't, and I think maybe that might have been kind of what was the problem. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try cold espresso. But that's basically the tiramisu. So we have that along with the cheesecakes, and that's going to be it. So what I'd love is if you are able to do these for the holiday season, that would be great. You know, Christmas is just around the corner. New Year's is around the corner. And these are good. Like I said, you could do this with rum or Kahlua or something like that. So if you wanted to do like an alcoholic version, you can do that. So by all means, go nuts. But that's going to do it this week. Excuse me for sweating. It's going to do it this week for Can Keithie Take the Heat? Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe. Everything we do here on the Backbone Wrestling Network and everything on the North-South Connection Network, Place to Be Nation, everything like that. So happy holidays from me to you, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.